Sometimes you just have to halt, and sometimes you are literally halted. Sometimes I used to wonder why I would get sick, and it turns out I was running myself into the ground. And today I have a much healthier and balanced approach to rest. I actually work hard to rest. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of like an oxymoron, but I do that so I don't hit that physical wall. And I've learned that the ebb and flow and the balance of rest as it applies to mind, body, and soul is really important, and I can't wait to share more about this and challenge you to be more intentional with your rest and renewal as well. So what do I mean by like running myself into the ground? So, I'm type A, I love to work, I work hard, and I have experienced over the years these seasons where I literally just hit a wall of some kind. And it often involves some sort of an illness. It's not like the flu, I've had that once in the last probably 10 years, but I'll just randomly get strep throat out of nowhere. Didn't get it from a kid, they didn't get it from school, I just got strep throat. Why? I don't know. I got it somehow, but I think it's those moments where we just kind of hit out of the blue with this random thing that it's like, nope, time for you to rest. And in that particular instance that I'm thinking of, I know that it's because I was going too hard, too fast, and I needed to slow down. And in this case, I was forced to slow down because of an illness. And that was probably the first time that I cued into, okay, I'm really not taking the best care of myself because I'm not resting enough. And I want to dive into that a little bit more here in this episode as it applies to the rest we need for our bodies, the rest we need for our minds, and the rest that we need for our souls. Because I do think that those different types of rests are all very different, and they need to be sort of applied and implemented into our life in different ways. I want to consider a few of these different options for body rest, okay? I think of body rest as typically being like after a workout. You need to rest, right? We talked in the last episode all about fitness and movement, and it's very important for you to balance rest, right? Coaches build in rest days for their athletes, and they build in rest periods during like a practice, let's say. So athletes rest, we need to plan in rest days after our workouts. It's just really important to make sure that you're giving your body the physical rest that it needs. Beyond workouts, there are a lot of other scenarios in life that can be very demanding on your body, right? Going through a grief period is exhausting. Going through, having anxiety, exhausting. There's all these different things that are competing for our body's physical attention, and we need to balance that with giving ourselves permission to rest and giving ourselves permission to go back to bed after we've gotten the kids to school, or giving ourselves permission to just take the weekend off and literally just have no plans and do nothing. Cancel plans. It's okay to do that. Cancel plans if you need to rest. Just do it. It'll be okay. I promise. I want you to be thinking about the cues that your body is giving you that you need to rest, and then listening to them. That's the hard part right there, is giving it, because we have something else to do. There's something on our task list. There's something on our calendar. There's something in our priorities. Like there's always something, but you need to make sure that you have rest. You're giving yourself permission to rest. You plan the rest. Plan it if you have to, but just give your body the rest that it needs. Next, giving your mind the rest that it needs. Okay, nowadays, it's like a thing to take a brain break by binge watching something, or by mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok and deciding that it's more entertaining to just watch what's going on in other people's lives and keeping up with them, right? I don't think that those things are as restful for our minds as we think they are. Okay, let that soak in for a sec. Binge watching is a great way to burn free time. You know, I think especially during like the pandemic COVID era, it was just like, I have so much time in my house, I need to do something, so I'm just gonna burn time by watching 6 seasons of something. Okay, I know, I did it too. It's okay if you did also. No, this is not a judgment thing. This is I don't find that to be restful for my mind. Sure, it's burning time, and I'm not thinking about the reality that I've been stuck in my house for the last X number of months, right? But that's not restful for your mind. You know, as we've moved back into sort of whatever this normal life is again, it's definitely not restful, okay? Other things that I would think would be restful and sort of renewing, if you will, meditation. And we talked about the Peloton digital app that we talked about for movement. They have some fabulous meditation series in there. There's also like the Calm app. Of course, these are paid apps, but you can find meditation, either guided meditation or just meditation music on YouTube, okay? So something that's going to calm your mind. Prayer would be a good one, you know, meditation and prayer together or individually. I also think just a good, deep conversation with a trusted friend can be super renewing for your mind. And of course, going for a walk, just a simple little 10-minute walk through, you know, nature or your neighborhood, just to clear your mind. I think there's something super powerful about a quick walk. And another exercise type mind rest, I think, is yoga. I've done a few yoga classes here and there over the years, and I find it to be super refreshing and renewing to do something like that. So I want you to think about the rest that your mind needs beyond reality escape. Okay, so that's the binge watching, the binge listening, the podcasts. I love to listen to podcasts, reading great fiction, right? Those things are mind escapes, which are important. I'm not discounting those at all. Don't hear that wrong. But I want you to think about what is going to be more effective for the rest, not reality escape, that your mind needs. The last thing I want to dig into is the kind of the deeper rest that I think is really important. And this is rest that it's more like a furlough type rest or even a sabbatical type rest. It doesn't happen quite as often, and that's just that rest that your soul needs. And I think that this is best accomplished outside of your day-to-day. So the mind rest we've talked about, all those things can just happen throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your months. But this deeper rest I think is really important, and it again happens less often, and it generally involves some sort of an escape or a getaway or a retreat. And of course, this is going to require expense of some kind. Maybe it's a staycation if you need an affordable option. You've probably sensed like, I just want to spend a night in a hotel room by myself somewhere. Like when you get to that point, you need a little escape. Figure out how to make that happen. Do you know somebody that rents out a house, an Airbnb or something? Can they let you have a night for free, right? Figure out how you can make this escape, getaway, retreat happen. You might have to get really creative. You might need to do a kid swap with a close family friend so that you and your spouse can get away, right? For just a night or two. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I think it's really important to escape from our day-to-day to get that deeper soul level rest that we need, that recharge, that renewal to, you know, then come back into the day-to-day and keep pressing on, keep pushing forward, and keep working our way through this intentional living journey. Okay, now that we've distinguished like the 3 different types of rest, the body rest, the mind rest, the soul rest, I want to talk about balance. And you could probably hear that theme as I walked you through all of those. And I think it's super important to balance the rest with movement, right? The body and mind even. I think it's really important to balance that renewal, the day-to-day renewal with life's demands, the mind renewal, as well as that kind of deeper soul renewal and being able to get a little escape and a little getaway to balance the stress and, you know, the way that you need to work both of those two things together. I want you to be thinking about that and paying close attention to your body's cues. I mentioned this earlier, but it's really important that you're in tune with this. And I think that if you're a woman, you're probably already in tune to this. If you're a gentleman listening to this, you might not be as in tune. But I think it's important for you to pay close attention to your body's cues and react quickly. Okay, so sometimes it's hormones, sometimes it's mental strain, sometimes it's just emotional exhaustion, right? All of these different things come in and out of our day and our week and our months as, you know, things happen in life. Physical fatigue, physical illness, right? All of these things are cues to help us see we're not doing a good job of resting. We're not giving ourselves permission to rest, whichever of the three types of rest that you need, okay? So fatigue can look like a number of things, and it can turn into chronic real quickly. If you don't balance fatigue with rest, it can be something else going on. So of course, talk to your doctor if there is something deeper going on. But I think that fatigue is something that's easy to ignore. It's easy to push away. It's easy to not recognize that this is here. And so if you are having a fatigue sort of level beyond, you know, oh, I know I'm tired because I did a hard workout yesterday. If it's beyond that, then you need to get some help and make some adjustments. So I do have a friend who has a number of children, many more kids than I have. And I remember her telling me a story once where she went to the doctor and she just was like, I am so tired. And the doctor was like, you haven't slept a full night in, I don't know, 20 years? Well, no wonder that we're tired. And you know, life's demands and having children, that's going to cause some fatigue, right? But what can you do to balance that fatigue? What could my friend do to give herself permission to take some time out, have a little rest period, right? Whatever that looks like for her. And I do know she made some significant changes after that. It was just like, well, yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. I haven't slept in however many years. We don't think about it. We don't realize it. It's just because this is what's happening in life. But fatigue is like, listen to your fatigue. Okay, listen to your fatigue. And yes, I know there were, I don't know, probably like 10 years. I don't think I slept through the night, but it's really important to be taking care of ourselves as we are working through life and as things are being thrown our way, because there is nothing more important than your physical well-being. My friend was not being the very best. She's a great mom. Don't hear that wrong. She was so tired, right? It's the whole like, put your oxygen mask on first. It's kind of like, wait, shouldn't I help them first? Well, no, because you're going to run out of air and be gasping and then not be able to help them. Ask for help if you need it, right? My friend, that's what she did. She got some help in the form of friends, in the form of her older children, and then working and communicating with her husband. That's kind of how she ended up working that whole situation out. But it's so important that we are taking care of ourselves, and I think we have to pay attention to those cues, and fatigue being one of them. I want to share an example that I share in some of the workshops that we do with you, just about like in the moment and how important this is, like in our day to day. Okay, it's going to sound really strange, but just bear with me. So we often call the witching hour for like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, just sort of, it's called the witching hour because, well, it's witchy. And I think it's that way because we've had a long day. If we have little kiddos underfoot, it's just challenging taking care of them and balancing, whether you're homeschooling or have older kids at school, like all the things that happen. By the time 4 or 5 o'clock rolls around, like we are just over it. Well, what needs to happen right around that same time? Dinner prep. Yep. Dinner needs to start being prepped around that same time. And what ends up happening is everybody just falls apart. The toddlers are whining and pulling on pant legs. Somebody's hungry. Somebody's crying. That's why it's called the witching hour. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to try this. Don't roll your eyes at me. Don't say whatever, Erin. Just try this. I want you to take 5 minutes and go sit on the couch before you go into the kitchen to do your afternoon dinner prep, okay? I just want you to sit there for 5 minutes, and this is what's gonna happen. The first 4.5 minutes, you're gonna feel like real strange and real guilty, and you're like, why am I sitting here? This is silly. What is Erin talking about? And this is what's gonna happen in that last 30 seconds. You're just gonna get this, your body's just gonna come down, and you're gonna get this little burst of, I can do this. And then you're gonna go into dinner prep and you're gonna just do it, right? There's probably gonna be a kid crawling on you. There might be somebody crying. There might be somebody saying, Mom, I need help with me. 5 minutes. This is your 5 minutes. This is your put your oxygen mask on before you go do dinner prep, okay? Take that 5 minutes and do this every day. It sounds a little crazy. If you have a little devotional, you have a little book you're working through, you have something that you can just take your mind off of the frenzy of the witching hour, or just sit there and look at the wall. I've done that before. If you need to escape to your closet, right, go do that. The cute little mom who ended up on Ellen because her twin, she's like in the pantry eating the Twizzler with her little twin daughter, like trying to like reach underneath the door. That's exactly what this mom was trying to do. She just needed a minute to rest. Okay, so take that 5 minutes. Announce it to everybody. Mom's gonna sit on the couch for 5 minutes. You guys play nicely or not, but I'm gonna sit on the couch for 5 minutes, okay? I want you to try this. I want you to see, that's just a real practical, like that's probably the best time in the day for you to take that 5 minutes to do that. And that is okay to do. Here's me telling you to sit for 5 minutes before you go do dinner prep. Just try it. And then email me and let me know how it goes, because I want to hear. All right, time for a slice of the Rest and Renewal Pie. That's P-I-E for plan, implement, evaluate. And I want you to plan times of rest in your schedule. I know, that sounds a little type A and a little extra, but I want you to do it. I want you to plan to spend that 5 minutes before dinner prep. I want you to take the last 30 minutes before you go pick up your kiddos from school and just do something restful. Do something for yourself. Read that book. Listen to that podcast. Maybe catch a 20-minute show, okay? But I want you to do something that's restful at some point in your schedule. Something really restful. I know I just said show, but if that's not restful, don't do that. Maybe it's at the end of the day, right? I see that meme floating around, like your kids are all asleep and then all of a sudden you come to life and you're ready to go to a party. That's because that's you time. Do something restful in that you time, if you will. So plan how that's gonna work, both in the day-to-day and plan. I think the easier thing to plan is that bigger getaway, escape, soulful rest, okay? Plan how you can fit that in to your, even if it's just once a year. Do something that's important for you to have that rest. Now I want you to implement and not feel guilty. That's the hard part. I mentioned that in that whole like 5-minute dinner prep thing, but I want you to take the rest. Enjoy the rest. Like, don't feel bad about it. I know we move at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and that's why we feel bad, because when we slow down, we think we're doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong when you slow down. There you go. Don't feel guilty. All right, plan your rest. Take that 5 minutes or that getaway or however you're going to work that into your day-to-day, week-to-week schedule. But here's the evaluate. I've got some tough questions for you. Was your break really, truly restful? Okay, we've already talked about this, I know. But do you need to do something different that's restful? Would a 10-minute walk plus listening to a podcast be restful versus laying in bed and watching a 20-minute show? You know, what could you try a little differently that would make your experience and time as restful and have the most renewal possible? Because really sometimes it's not that way, okay? Is playing games, we all have that game on our phone that's mindless, is that really restful? And thinking about how rest and escape relate to each other and which is best for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with escaping reality. I love me a good fiction book, right? I love a good 1,000-page page turner. Yes, they exist, okay? But is that really restful? All right, at the end of each episode, I share how I want you to think, feel, and take action. And this as it relates to rest and renewal, and therefore the results that you see in your life. And I think intentional living is really a lot about results. And in this case, how rest is producing that fruit that we need to then carry on with the other responsibilities and priorities that we have in life. Think. I want you to think that you deserve rest and you deserve to relax, because you do. And I want you to not feel guilty when you do rest and relax. So I want you to think that you deserve it. Of course, then I want you to feel renewed or rested or relaxed. All of those re means again, right? To be new again. You get the idea. You see the theme there is to do it again and again. We have to do these things again and again. Think you deserve it, feel renewed and relax. And if you have to, taking action, scheduling this in, back to that sort of planning, scheduling it in. And here's the other action I want you to take. I want you to listen and obey to the cues your body's giving you. When your body needs rest, rest. It's hard to do, especially when life's throwing all these different things at you. But when it's time to rest, I want you to rest. All right, so that's it for this episode. We talked about intentional body movement. This is intentional body rest. And I want you to be putting those two episodes together and thinking about how you can, treat your body the best that you can by moving it and by resting it. So please, if you haven't yet subscribed to the Erin Chase Show, we are on season 3. You can go back and listen to the other seasons, and of course we'll be releasing new episodes for you now and in the future. Also, please review, leave us a comment, reply to an email. We want to hear how these episodes are helping you on your intentional living journey. And if you haven't yet, you can download the accompanying worksheets for all of these season 3 episodes. You can do that at erinchase.io/podcast. And that's it for this episode, my friend. It's bye for now, and we will talk again soon.